Planning using presentation tools. Using presentation software, a teacher can skillfully sequence and realign lessons to meet the specific needs of students. These lessons can be saved from year to year and modified to build a deep understanding of the learning standards and make the essential connections to the real world, helping all students be college and career ready. I'm going to do screenshots within PowerPoint today. You could do this also in Google Drive in the presentation, and there's many other presentation softwares that you can use. If you look in the bottom left corner, those are the different views. Right now I'm in slide view. The only trick about slide view, if you want to go print your presentation, you probably don't want to print all your slides, especially not full color. You'll be out of ink and before the presentation is done. So I'm always careful. I always try to print in handout mode. All right, the next one is the one that I use the most to sequence my presentations. And what I do is I think about this almost like cards, almost like index cards that you can move around in different order. You just click and drag. And so when I'm planning the presentation, I look for themes and threads, and then I just move everything around to end up in the place that makes the most sense for it to be presented. Now, as I plan and think, I think, oh, of course I'll have enough time to get to this. But I'm a real teacher just like you, and we know we don't always get to the finished spot that we had hoped. The great part about presentation software is you can just pick up from where you left off whatever day and continue on. Now, here's another view, and this view is the presentation view. The people in the audience are just seeing the slides, but I'm seeing what's coming up next so that I can be prepared for that. So this is a really nice thing, and it also, you can go ahead and, I don't use the timer. I find that timer to be distracting. I actually use my timer on my phone, but just another view for you. Now, this is the outline view. Now, this isn't at the bottom. This is actually at the top. And the outline view is great if you have words on your slides. But you can see that I don't. That's why nothing is showing up next to any of those 19 slides. Because I make very graphic, rich slides, or I do screenshots, which are really graphics. So there's no words. That's why you're not seeing anything. There are words. This is actually a really handy feature and a great thing to teach kids. So you can go ahead and sequence ideas and thoughts. So this is my favorite view to do the rearranging and so on. I do all the rearranging before I go and do the presentation. I will tell you, I found some really interesting things as I was working on recording a slideshow. And so I'm like, wow, they've added a lot of really nice features. So something for another course that we will have, but I just wanted to point out some really nice things. Now, you've got a lot of options, and one of them is save as movie. And go ahead and export it as a whole movie here. So if you're going to be out for, let's say, professional development, or some kind of meeting, you could go ahead and actually make a movie of your presentation, kind of like what I'm doing for you. The other thing too, I use a lot of, another feature I use is the one that is called Save as Pictures. And what it does is once you get all your slides the way you want them, it exports each slide individually into a folder with and they all come out as graphics. So you've got a beautiful graphic. So if I'm making a movie and I just want nice graphics, I'll make them in PowerPoint. I will save them as pictures, and then I can put them anywhere. Now, organization. One of the big things in this one is to save it from year to year. That is when technology saves you time. But you have to create a system, a bulletproof system, so you can find everything. You want to make sure there's folders within folders, and everything has its own place. And you don't want to do, oh, maybe this way and this way. Come up with a system and stick with it. And I don't suggest you go by chapters in your book or things like that, because books do change and you don't want to have to realign your entire system, for example. If you need more help with the organization and so on and so forth, that's another whole course. That not only organizing, but backing up your stuff. Ha! Okay, it's really fun in life when you can say, I wrote the book on it. I wrote the book on it. But that doesn't mean that if you open up my hard drive at any minute that I don't have things a little bit out of whack. I have a really good core system. I sometimes get a little lazy and drop things on the desktop thinking, sure, I'll get back to that. We're teachers. There's never any time to get back to anything. Okay, now that was kind of PowerPoint and organizing that way. I wanted to also talk about the smart board or interactive whiteboard software. All the interactive whiteboards have their own place to collect lesson plans and things like that. I just went into the Smart Exchange because that's the software I have on my computer. And then you can go ahead and look around. I can't believe how much is here that you can go ahead and start using immediately. These teachers have made these and uploaded them to the Smart Exchange. Here's this. Just, I know how long it would take to do that, to find those graphics, put them in the right place, make each one of those slides, and I just thank this teacher that shared this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, because it saves all of us a lot of time. Now look on the left. You see they're 1, 2, you can see the slides. They start at 1 and they go down, and then there's a whole bunch of them. And those can be rearranged, moved around, just like what I just showed you in PowerPoint. Same exact thing can be done here in the notebook software or the Promethean software or the Eno software. Any of those, you can just rearrange things. So here's one, and you think, I don't like it in that place. Once you download it from the Smart Exchange, you have the files. I would never suggest you take off that teacher's name and put your own name. Don't do that. Give them credit for all their beautiful hard work. But you can rearrange things. You actually have what's called the native files so that you can do that. It's not just read-only the way that that teacher created it. Okay, out of Smart Exchange, a lot of people do not know this, that you can do the same thing by exporting your image files. You can also send it to a web page. I've never tried to do that. But you can also make them into a PDF. If you want to, for example, in this situation, you want to make a handout for that. You could export as a PDF, and that way, a PDF you can't go in and manipulate, but you would have the entire presentation there. You see where it's on the left, where it's creating the little picture of the page. Those are actually called thumbnails, so you can just kind of get a sense. And that's what I use a lot in my planning and organizing. Don't forget, be organized. The key is to get back to this. And one of the things I've learned the hard way is, let's say that for one unit I have maybe a smartboard lesson, then I might have a spreadsheet, and I might have something else. I used to, in old thinking, keep the smartboard things in my smartboard files, like everything for a smartboard in one file. But I would never remember when I'm about to teach this unit to put it in, to remember that I had that great lesson from last year. I strongly suggest, no matter what element, like what's it made in, is it a spreadsheet, a presentation, a Word document, it doesn't matter. I just strongly suggest you put them in the same folder. So next year, when you get ready to do this, it's all in one place. That's when technology really saves you time. So planning using presentation tools. This is how I always plan my presentations. No matter what my final thing is going to look like, I just find it very easy to kind of move the pieces around. Thanks.